Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's 7:31 a.m. on Wednesday, January 27th, 2021. Hump day, as they say. I know that was corny, but I didn't know what else to say. So, like I said, today is Wednesday, January 27th, and there's nothing really specific going on in the world right now. There's one thing, but I personally don't have enough knowledge about it to talk about it for an hour, but we are going to go over it. But in general, yeah, there's not much that I want to talk about for an hour today. One specific thing. So I'm just going to have an open conversation and honestly, one, say whatever comes to my mind, but two, probably let a lot of people take the floor. If I have some live listeners, just let them take the floor and ask them questions, and we just, like I said, have an open conversation. But the one thing that I was just talking about that is really trending and that's going global right now, maybe it's just an American thing, I don't want to say global, but it's been trending number one on Twitter since all day yesterday, is the GameStop surge. The GameStop stock went from $40 on today's Wednesday, $40 on Monday to $230 as of right now this morning. And that's not because of they released some good news. Well, that's not entirely true. They did just get a new CEO. The CEO of Chewy is their CEO now. So if you don't know, there's this pet company or pet food company called Chewy. And honestly, you probably already do know about them. But if you don't know about them, they had a giant CEO that basically changed them into the Amazon of pet food. And GameStop, as we know, was about to go bankrupt. So they got a new CEO, and it's him. It's the CEO of Chewy is now the CEO of GameStop. So that has been like their big good news. They just got a good partnership deal with Microsoft, and he's going to try to revamp their whole company. But that is not why their stock went 6x. Their stock went 6x because of some Redditors. There's this website called Reddit, and they have different threads. If you've never been on there, they have different threads and different subreddits, as they call them, and you can look up anything on there. So there's this finance Wall Street subreddit called Wall Street Bets. And if you've never been on there, please go on there and read some of the threads that they have. I was cracking up last night reading some of them because they call themselves degenerates. They call themselves like whales. And they kind of know how the hedge funds look at them. They know how the big conglomerate companies look at them. So they have been kind of like banding together to squeeze GameStop to kind of mess with the shorters. So to explain all those finance terms, a short bet is you think that the GameStop stock is going to go down. So you're shorting the company. Obviously, like I explained in a different episode before, that's the same thing kind of as, not exactly, but it's the same thing as like a put. You think that the company's going to go down. On the opposite end is when you think the company is going to do well. Obviously, you would buy. I always forget what this one is called, and I do not know why, and it always makes me look bad. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the term is. You think that the stock is going to go up, so you buy its put is down, and I can never remember the other one. You buy it. It's an option, and you buy it that you think the stock is going to go up. So a call, thank God, it's called a call. A put is down, and a call is to go up. You buy a call to say that the stock is going to keep going up, and you can set what price you think it's going to go at. And obviously, the higher it goes, the more money you make. The lower, if you buy a put, the lower it goes, the more money you make. So these Redditors from Wall Street Bets are just royally screwing the short bettors, and they're specifically aiming at this one hedge fund group called Melvin Capital. And Melvin Capital has been scrambling for funds. They said, I was reading this thread earlier that said as of when the stock price was $40 per share, Melvin Capital had 100,000 shares at $40, and they were shorting it, saying it's going to go down. But like I said, the stock has only gone up 6x. So as it's going up increasingly, the Melvin Capital has been basically burning money. They've been losing billions of dollars daily because these Redditors just keep hammering GameStop. They just keep going at it, and everyone on the subreddit was literally like, please just go on that subreddit, type in reddit.com/r/Wall Street Bets, and you will have the best laugh of your day. Some of the things that the people say in there are hilarious. So, and they're just what they call retail, like investors. They're not a big group. They're not investing hundreds of millions of dollars. Like I just said, that one Melvin Capital Group had $10 billion worth of one stock. So that's obviously not what these people are doing. But if you can get a collective of people, there's like 2 million people in that subreddit. If you can get 2 million people to buy hundreds of thousands, if not millions of shares, that's obviously going to make the stock rise heavily. And then on top of that, the meme lord himself, Elon Musk, tweeted about Wall Street Bets, and that made the stock go. Yesterday, the stock went from like about 120 or 130 to 180, and then Elon tweeted about it, and then went from like 180 to 230. So, for those of you that don't know really how stocks work, if you buy 10, I'll just say it like that, it makes the math easier. If you buy 10 shares at $40, that means you would have invested $400 into the company. So if that company then doubles and it goes from 40 to 80, that means your 400 will have also doubled. It will now have turned into 800. You still have 10 shares and you bought it at 40. Now that stock price went from 40 to 80. So now you own 10 shares at $80. 10 times 80 is 800. So same thing if it doubles again. So like I said, the stock is now 230. So using that same math, if you own 10 shares at 40 and it goes to 230, now you own 10 shares at 230. 10 times 230 is $2,300. So your $400 yesterday would have went not double, which would have been 8, not triple, which would have been 12, not quadruple. It would have went 6 times over. Your 400 would have turned to round up basically $2,400. And as I tell you guys all the time, you can scale my math however you want. If you would have invested $1,000 when it was at 40, and now it's at round up at 240, you 1,000 when it's at 1,000 times 6 over, you'd have had like $6,000. And that is over the course of 2 days. So what these retail investors are doing is not, that's why this is trending so much, because what these retail investors are doing is not, it has not really been seen before. And I was seeing articles that are being written, and people are saying that we're now in a quote unquote meme stock era where people can have a group of people and say, hey, yo, go invest in this, and it will make the stock blow up. And we've seen this tons of, that's not true. We haven't seen this tons of times, but as of in the last year or so, we've seen this like 2, 3, or 4 times. I said in a different episode, when Facebook was changing their terms for WhatsApp and they were trying to ask for more of people's data, Elon Musk tweeted out, go use Signal. Signal is a messaging app that's encrypted and it's known for its privacy. People confuse that with a different signal on the stock market, and people invested in this thing, in this other Signal, not the messaging app, but in this other Signal. That Signal stock price was about 70 cents on a Friday. By that next Thursday, that Signal stock price was $70. It went from 70 cents to about $70. And watch this. I'll do the very, very quick math for you. I know everyone thinks I can do math in my head really, really quickly, which I can, but I can't do this one. So $1,000, I'm on my computer, for those of you that can't visually see me. $1,000 divided by 0.70 is how many shares you'll get. 1,428 shares. So now that's how many shares you own. So now you own that many shares at $70. So you invested 1,000, remember? So your $1,000 is about to turn into $100,000. If that day that Elon Musk said, "Hey, you should invest in you should use Signal," and people got it confused, if you said I'm going to invest 1,000 because Elon Musk said this, and it was 70 cents, you said, "I have $1,000. I just got a stimulus check or whatever. I'm going to put that on Signal." In a week, your $1,000 would have turned into $100,000. And that's what the people are talking about. We're in this meme stock era where stocks can just grow exponentially because Elon tweeted about it, because Wall Street Bets has a conglomerate of, as they call themselves, degenerates that are willing to invest their money. This one guy said, so on Reddit, you can give people awards if you think that their tweet, or not a tweet, but their post rather, their post was good. You can give them like an award, like a silver award, a gold award, platinum, things like that. And I'm not too familiar with how much they cost, but people were awarding like this one guy, and he kept saying like, "Don't award me. Use your money and buy more GameStop. Go buy." And apparently BlackBerry is another one that they're buying, that they're trying to squeeze. And they're saying, "Go buy more BlackBerry." And this one guy, he said, "I would give you an award, but I'm not selling my stock, and I don't have any other money. All my money is in the stock." And they are just, oh my God, I have to read one of these to you guys just so I can have it on my YouTube. Because these are hilarious. I'm going to go to Wall Street Bets and just read one of them. This is, I'm going to say this one. Read this one. This one says, where's the one I read yesterday? Is it this one? They, like, even things like this. Oh my gosh, I don't think a lot of people know about this, but there's so many like levels to what these people say and do. There was this game way back in the day called World of Warcraft, and it was a team game. And I know you guys have heard this before, but this was a team game, and normally you guys make a plan, and then you go in and you can fight an enemy together. There was this one guy that went in and did it himself, and he said, like, "Forget the plan, Leroy Jenkins." And this guy just said that on Reddit. Someone put, "GameStop has bounced and is once again at 225. Hold strong, boys. CNBC cannot shake us off. We will take GameStop to $1,000 with Elon Musk and BlackRock holding our hands. I repeat, this is your buyback point. We're going to the moon." And the top comment says, "I'm dropping another 5K today. What's the idea behind that? What's the idea behind, you might ask? Leroy Jenkins." And the top comment under that says, "You beautiful man of culture. GameStop to the moon. We're on the rocket ship together." These are the types of things they're in there saying to each other. So it's not like they have the most like finance backgrounds, or that they all work on Wall Street together. They're just regular, what they call retail investors who are working together, and they see themselves as a group, as a family, and they're just working together. I'm not reading it anymore, but I remember from earlier, or maybe that was last night, someone said that if it goes up any higher, they're gonna if it like it's at 250 right now. If it goes to 500, then they'll be rich. And what did he say? He said something like he wants to tell his family, like if he gets that rich, he won't be able to tell his family because he doesn't want people to treat him differently. And the one guy said that's what we're here for, boys. We can all be whales together. But I only use that example because they really think that they're all a family. They're like there for each other. So I'm excited to see like what the hell is going to happen next. I want to see if BlackBerry is going to get squeezed. Some people on there are talking about Best Buy. I looked at Best Buy charts. It doesn't look like it's going to get squeezed, but neither did GameStop. If you guys want to look up the GameStop charts, it's GME. BlackBerry is BB. Best Buy is BBY. And oh my gosh, it is hilarious. But like I said, I don't really understand too much about what's going on. Like I don't think there may not be more that's going on besides that. But I know that I'm going to be watching them closely now. Because if they say like go buy some $20 stock or something and they can make that jump to $200, if you invest $100 in that $20 stock that they're talking about, and then it goes up to 200, your 100 will turn into 1,000. So if they say go invest in something else, I'm probably going to do it. But a big disclaimer from the past, from what I was reading and what from my friends have told me who actually do follow these channels, Wall Street Bets has lost a lot of people money over the years. So this might just be their one big break. But I don't know. It could be a fluke, but all I know is people are making money. This one guy on there yesterday, he made $3 million over the last 2 days. $3 million. So, oh my gosh, this is insane. But what's something else going on? I know I saw LeBron. This wasn't yesterday. I think this was 2 days ago. LeBron and Tom Brady are just clearly robots, like robotic. They're not even they're Terminators. They're not even human. And it's very weird how parallel their careers are, if you ask me. Like maybe it's just me, but like for example, Tom Brady's going to his 10th Super Bowl. LeBron has been to 10 championships. Tom Brady's not little, but much older than LeBron. But like their careers are so parallel, and the fact that they're still doing it at such a high level, at the highest level, is mind-blowing. And I don't think people are appreciating that enough. Like the other day, I don't know if people saw this. LeBron, I believe his team was losing, and he going into the third quarter, ending the third quarter, he takes like a buzzer beater and he misses, and someone we all know he used to be on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now he's on the Los Angeles Lakers, but they were versing each other. So, and it was at Cleveland. It was at their home. So, obviously that's LeBron's hometown as well. So, a Cleveland executive wanted someone from the Cleveland Cavaliers executive bench. They like cheered because LeBron missed. And if you watch the video, LeBron just stared at him and kind of gave him that look like, okay, no problem. And from there on out, he went ballistic in the fourth quarter, and they won the game. And he dropped 46 points. And this man is playing with people that weren't even born when he started into the NBA. Like some of the people that he is going against were either 1-2 years old or not even born yet. And that's mind-blowing to me because they look at him as the OG, the old man. Oh, we watched LeBron as we grew up, and now he's dunking on us. Same thing with Tom Brady. The sentiment that they keep using for the Super Bowl is when Tom Brady was in his first Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was in kindergarten. Tom Brady's been in the Super Bowl since 2003. And now it's 2021 and he's going to a 10th Super Bowl. I don't think that that's a record that'll ever be broken, honestly. If you just maybe it's me because I'm a stats guy, like maybe that's why I enjoy them so much. But if you look at the pure stats that Tom Brady has, like from a playoffs perspective or from a because his career he doesn't have bad stats at all. I mean, he's number 2 in passing yards all time. But to me, that's just like his longevity, really. Like you can have stats like that if you just play in the game for a long time. Doesn't mean you're a winner. No shade. Look at Phillip Rivers. Like Phillip Rivers, I think is top 10 all time passing yards. I think he has like 2 or 3 playoff wins in his whole career. Tom Brady has 34 playoff wins. And it doesn't. There was this one stat I saw, and I think I put it on my Instagram. You can go follow me at the Duron Coles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything that exists. I'm on there as the Duron Coles. There was this one stat I saw that, as far as I think it's history. I don't think it's active quarterbacks. It's in the history of the NFL. Tom Brady has like the 3rd most wins in the NFC playoffs, and 6 of them are just from his Super Bowl rings. Like if you look at Russell Wilson, if you think of the best that you can, if you think of the Joe Montanas, and you think of Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and anyone you can think of from the NFC that was playing in the NFC, Tom Brady has more wins than all of them in their playoff careers, just because he went to the Super Bowl so many times. This is his first year ever playing in the NFC. If for those of you that are totally confused about what I'm talking about, there's two NFLs. There's two NFLs. There's 2 conferences in the NFL. There's the AFC and the NFC. Tom Brady was on the New England Patriots for 20 years, and he was on or maybe it was 19, a long ass time. He was on the Patriots in the AFC. So it's very obvious he has the most AFC playoff wins of all time. But for the NFC, he just changed teams to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's the first time he's ever been in the NFC, ever in his career. But even before he played in the NFC, he still had the 3rd most NFC playoff wins ever, because he's won 6 Super Bowls. And that is mind-blowing. And then I saw another stat. He has as many NFC conference championships as Drew Brees, who some people consider like top 3 GOATs of all time, and Aaron Rodgers, who people consider maybe top 2, him or Mahomes, most athletic or most talented quarterbacks all time. And now Brady this is his first year ever playing in the NFC, and now he has as many NFC championships as Brees and as Aaron Rodgers. So Brady might not be the most talented. You can say whatever you want to say about him, but he just wins. It doesn't matter where he goes. It doesn't matter what he does. He just wins. And that's the same thing with LeBron. Like, that's why I said their careers are so parallel, because it doesn't matter where LeBron James goes. Since the age of, I don't know when he made his first. I do know when he made his first finals. I think he was 24. But since he started making finals, is what I'm trying to get at, he hasn't missed them. The only year he ever missed it, he was injured. But besides that, he's gone 9 years or 10 years straight. If it doesn't, and it's mind blowing to think he's been on 3 different teams in that same time span, because you would think like, oh, if he changed teams, you obviously can't go back to the championship because you're with a whole new roster, you're with all new people. But the same constant is Tom Brady. The same constant is LeBron James. If they are on the field, if they are on the court, the team wins. And Tom Brady's and people are going to argue. They're going to say, well, they've lost before. Like LeBron is 4-6 in the finals, or Tom Brady is 6-4 in the Super Bowl, or 6-3 right now. He's about to be 6-4 when he loses to Mahomes. But And I know that goes against everything I just said, saying that he wins. But Mahomes is quite literally a different animal. His team, his whole collective team is just. You want to talk about winning when Mahomes probably, I think he already has like the highest winning percentage of all time. In his playoffs, he's only, well, that's a good stat to say. In his playoff career, Mahomes has only ever lost once. But you know who he lost to? 2019 AFC Championship game? Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. But it wasn't his fault. Like, Mahomes led them to a comeback. He only had like 30 seconds. He got them a touchdown, and then he literally lost because of a coin toss and his defense. I mean, you can't just say the coin toss, but it went to overtime. The Patriots won the coin toss. They said we want the ball first, and they scored, and Mahomes never got to even touch the ball. And that's the game. I mean, you can't just say like it was unfair or something. That's the game. But I say all that to say, I think Mahomes isn't going to go out like that this time. In a perfect way. And I hate that they have to go against each other. I think I said this before. I hate that they have to go against each other because I'm truly, truly, truly all about legacy. And I hate that one of them has to lose. If someone has to lose, I want it to be Brady. Because everyone always talks about Jordan's perfect 6-0 in his respective NBA championships. If Mahomes could try to do something like that, that'd be nice. Like that would be elite. Brady is considered the GOAT of all GOATs of football, but he's 6-4. They put it against LeBron's head like, oh, you'll always be second best all time. You've lost 6 times in the championships, in the finals. So and I guess, I mean, it's different for football to basketball because for football, Joe Montana, who was a San Francisco 49ers quarterback, and some people consider him the GOAT. He went 4-0 in the Super Bowl. He got to the Super Bowl 4 times, and he won 4 times. But people don't really talk about that in football. I really haven't heard many people talk. I didn't even know about that until a couple of weeks ago. I was Googling it to see if like anyone had ever went undefeated, and I think he's the only quarterback that's been like to that many. There's some that are 1-0 or 2-0, but he's the only one that has that many, 4-0. And if you look at, like I said, both parallels, that's the only time they really veer off from each other. If you want to say LeBron's the GOAT, people will come at you and say, well, Jordan went 6-0. And your argument might be, well, LeBron went to more championships, and isn't it about getting to the end more times? And if you look at the other side and you say, oh, well, Tom Brady's the GOAT, no one will argue against you and will say, oh, he lost 4 times. They don't even say that. No one's going to bring up, well, Montana went 4-0. It's not even a conversation. But to stick to what I was trying to say, I hate that if Mahomes was to lose, he'd be 1-1. He'd gone to Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls. He won 1, lost 1. And as far as legacy goes, you don't ever get that loss back. And he could still go on to win 8 championships or whatever, but he'll always be 8-1. You know what I mean? It's very rare that you see someone with a perfect record in something. And if those of you that don't know me personally, I am on a Mahomes bandwagon. I am rooting for him to break every single record ever made, if possible. Like, a lot of people hate the records where they say, oh, he's the fastest person to get to 10,000 passing yards in 41 games or something like that. I love those records. I want him to be the youngest to ever do it, the fastest to ever do it, the everything. He's the youngest to play in 2 Super Bowls. Good. I want him to be the youngest to win 2 Super Bowls, and then I want him to go back next year and win again, and then the year after that, and then the year after that. I want him to be the greatest of all. I love watching legacies like that be built. And the only way you can become the GOAT is to beat the GOAT. We would have loved to see LeBron go against Jordan, or Kobe go against Jordan, or LeBron go against Kobe and have to beat them to go and proclaim the throne. You know what I mean? And for Mahomes, this will be the only, most likely, unless they do it again next year, most likely the only time they get to do it. What would be a real storybook, which would be awesome, is because people obviously call Tom Brady the GOAT. He's the most winningest quarterback of all time. It's not even a question that he's the GOAT, right? So if Mahomes could beat Tom Brady, it'd be like, wow, he beat the GOAT. Especially if he outplays him and Tom Brady's throwing interceptions. Mahomes throws like 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 400 yards. Like, his stats are really nice. And Brady has like 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and like 200 yards. It'll be like, damn, Mahomes is taking the throne, taking the torch. And then let's say next year, who people call the GOAT of talented quarterbacks, most talented quarterbacks, if Aaron Rodgers can make the Super Bowl next year and Mahomes makes it again, and then Mahomes was to beat him too, he would only be like 26 at that time. He's 25 right now, I think. Yeah, he's 20. Lamar's 24. Mahomes is 25. Are they both 25? I think him, Deshaun Watson, and Lamar Jackson are all 25. I'm not too sure, but I'm almost positive he's 25 years old. Anyway, to get to the point, if he won this year, he'd have 2 Super Bowls. If he did what I said and beats Aaron Rodgers next year in the Super Bowl, he'll be 26, 3 Super Bowls, 3-0. He already got 1 MVP 2 years ago. And he's coming in second place for MVP this year. He'll probably come in top 3 next year. Probably won't win it again. We'll see. If he does win it again, he'll have 2 MVPs, 3 Super Bowls, and he'll be 26 years old. And that is not even fathomable. Because if you do the math or look at the whole big picture, Tom Brady is 43 and he's still playing quarterback. So if Mahomes is 26 and he wants to play till he's 40 or something, he's got a long career ahead of him. And I don't know that he wants to do that, because we've seen sudden retirements all of a sudden when people are doing very well. Not as well as Mahomes. Historically, no one has done as well as Mahomes. But we've seen Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is a quarterback where he was doing well, but he was getting injured left and right. And randomly, like a week or 2 before the season, boom, he announces his retirement. So I hope Mahomes plays for a long time. I truly, truly hope that he breaks every record. I've done a lot of math on this man. I hope that he breaks Drew Brees' 5,000 yards record. I hope that he gets more rings than Tom Brady. I hope he does some crazy behind the back passes, no look passes, things that no one's ever done before. And I hope he's the first to throw 100,000 yards in a career. Like, I want him to be like, because right now Breeze is 42. Breeze is either 41 or 42, and he has like 88,000 or something stupid as far as yards, like something astronomical. And Brady is 80. Is 80. He might as well be 80. Brady is 43 and is number 2 right behind Breeze, 88,000, 87, whatever the number is, right? So I want Mahomes to be like 37 or like 36, 30, 38 and have that many yards and still have 4 or 5 years left. And people are going to be like, yo, he's going to get 100,000. Same way like LeBron, everyone says that, said that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record as far as points would never be broken. 38,000 points is too much to eclipse. But LeBron is on pace to not only pass that, but be the first person ever to get 40,000 points. So just like he's the first to do that, I really, really, really would love for Mahomes to be the first to ever get that many yards. That'd be mind blowing. No one's ever got 90, so let alone if he gets 100. I mean, once he gets 100, people will be right behind it with 90, 92, 93. The Deshaun Watsons of the world, or by that time, maybe Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert. Like, people will get close to that, get to the 90s. But I want him to be the far and away winner. Touchdown records, everything. Next year, I want him to have the. There's only been 13. I don't know this as a fact, so I would have to fact check it. But there hasn't been a lot of seasons where quarterbacks have had 50-yard touchdown seasons. There's been like 7. Tom Brady did it once. Peyton Manning, Mahomes did it, and I think Matt Stafford? No, that was for 5,000 yards. Regardless, what I'm trying to say is a lot of things haven't been done a lot of times, and Mahomes has always been close to doing it. There's only been like 13 5,000-yard seasons. I think that's where my 13 number came from. And Mahomes was on pace to throw for 5,000 yards again this year, but they sat him for the last game. He had like 4,700. He was on pace to get 5,000 again. But he was. I think that will be, and that's not a bad thing or a downfall for him. But I think that will be his quote unquote downfall as far as stats. I think his team will be winning so much over the next couple of years that he'll always have like a bye week as far as week 17, or they say that they're going to make more games. So week 18, I think he'll always be 14-1 and going into the last week, or they'll be 13-2 going into the last week, and they'll be like, we don't need to play him. We got the first seed. So, and maybe over the next 5 years or whatever, his defenses will be bad. So he needs to do shootouts like Matt Stafford and Drew Brees. Matt Stafford is not a big winner, but his stats go crazy because his defenses have always sucked on the Detroit Lions. And he throws 5,000 yards, 4,800 yards every year because he's just doing shootouts trying to help his team come back. So, I don't know. We've seen some great things over the years, and I just hope that Mahomes is part of it. People are, and I even though I'm a big stan, I'm not going to rush like how some people are saying, like, oh, he's the GOAT already and things like that. I'm not going to go that far because for me, like, to be a GOAT, you have to have longevity. It's talent. Talent, you can look at it any aspect of their career. You can argue that he's the most talented quarterback of all time. I think between him and Rodgers and some people aren't talking about Elway. Because I think Montana was good, but I don't think he was like overly crazy talented. Same thing with Manning. Manning was very smart, but he wasn't overly talented. If Lamar Jackson could throw a little better, I think he'd be the most talented quarterback ever. He can throw okay, but if he could throw a little better, he would by far be the most talented quarterback ever. But as of right now, I would say Mahomes is like, I don't know. You can't really. I don't like when people say he's already the greatest of all time. He has as many rings as Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco might have 2 rings. I don't know. Can't remember. No, I think he has 1. But what I'm getting at is he has 1 ring. You can't say because he won 1 ring and he won 1 MVP and because he's doing so well, he's the GOAT. That's kind of like Derrick Rose. Even though Derrick Rose never won a championship, he was the youngest MVP of all time, and then he hurt his knee and hurt his ankle, and his career was over. And now people don't really even talk about him. And I'm not knocking wood. I'm not wishing that on anybody. But I'm just saying, you can't just, he's 26. He's got 1 championship and 1 ring, and he looks like he's the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. He's the GOAT. You can't take that away from Brady. Can't take that away from Joe Montana, John Elway. Even non-quarterbacks can't take that away from Deion Sanders and Jerry Rice. People consider Jerry Rice to be the GOAT, who's a wide receiver, for those of you that don't know. I'm sorry for all the sports talk. I didn't think that this would turn into a sports rant, but I did say it was an open conversation. But in general, I just love stats. Like, it wasn't supposed to be a sports talk. It was more so about the stats and about building a legacy, because I think that's, I don't know, in general, that's what life to me is about. Building a legacy. Because and you can say that someone like Mahomes has already built it. Regardless, he has a 10-year, $500 million contract, $500 million. That's the first of the first, the highest paid athlete of all time. I don't know. You can. Where am I getting at with that? Where I'm getting at is, you can say that he already has built a legacy, but I think, one, there's more to be built. But like I said, in general, I think that's what life is about, and I think that's why I love watching them. Before there was a Mahomes, there was a Derrick Rose I would love to watch. Like, I cry, quite literally. I cry when I watch old Derrick Rose videos, because I saw what he could have become. And to me, that's the most heartbreaking thing that you can have in life, when you have talent or have something that you could have accomplished, or something that it was right there in front of you, and things that you aren't controlling or that you're not in control of ruin it. Like, Derrick Rose probably went up for dunks millions of times. If not, maybe not millions, but literally thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times. He's probably been playing basketball since he was like 4 years old. Probably could dunk since he was like 14. And he has probably been going up for dunks on dunks on dunks on dunks. And it just so happened that this dunk, this time, it ended the Derrick Rose that we knew. And I think that and people always argue with me about this, but I think Derrick Rose would have become the greatest player of all time. Over Michael Jordan, over LeBron, over them all. He was 20 when he won the MVP. And he was something that he looked like Russell Westbrook mixed with like Penny Hardaway, mixed with so many people. And it sucks. It really did suck. I've always changed like who my favorites of my favorite athletes are, or my favorite team. Not my football team. I'm an Eagles fan for life. But I don't really have a favorite basketball team, or a favorite player, or favorite thing like that. It always changed. I wasn't a big LeBron fan for basically my whole life. I wasn't a big Kobe fan for when I was younger, until I became like a teenager and I realized, yo, this man is ridiculous. That's when I became a Kobe fan. And then I would say I became a LeBron fan maybe in college, because their legacies. Like, when LeBron wasn't really accomplishing anything and he was just trying, I was like, all right, this guy, like, yeah, he gets the MVPs, but he doesn't really get to the championships. Like, and then he won one, and then he won two, and I was like, all right, like, maybe I can follow this guy. And maybe that makes me bandwagon, but I just like to see. And as soon as he got two, I said, all right, now how does he get six? Like, I got to see him get 6 or 7 to pass Jordan. That becomes like my desire to watch people, to see them do things that have never been done. I like kicking records. Like, if I know as a fact that the longest kick that's ever been done in the NFL is 63 yards by Matt Prater, and I didn't Google that. I only know that because I love records. So now I would love to see someone kick a 64-yard field goal, or I would love to see, you know what I mean? Like, if right now this will never, in my opinion, this will never be broken. But the scoring record by Wilt Chamberlain is 100 points. If someone scores 101 points, that would be awesome to me. I think that would be awesome to everyone, because that just, in today's NBA, that would be stupid. But yeah, there's some records that I think will always stand, and that is one of them. I think records are meant to be broken, and that one cannot be broken, in my opinion. I think that's impossible. And it transcends sports for me, too. Like, Kylie Jenner being the youngest billionaire ever. Regardless of how she got it, I know she's a Kardashian and a Jenner or whatever. But things like that, the youngest to ever do something, that blows my mind. Before her, it was Zuckerberg. All of those stats blow my mind. Because it's just like, dag, there have been, right now there's 7 billion, about to be 8 billion people, right? Think about how many people there were even before them. How many people were their age. People that had their ideas that weren't able to execute. People that were able to execute, but not to the extent that they were. All of these people have lived their lives and tried to accomplish the things that everyone would like to accomplish. Everyone wants to be successful. But this was the first person to ever do it. And we watched it in our lifetimes. I think that's crazy. To watch people transcend limits. Like, there's a limit put on us. Like, oh, even though I hate Bezos because of the way that he does with his money, it'd be awesome to me to see him be the first. Well, I would rather Elon do it. Yeah, let's take Bezos out of it. I would rather, like, even though the amount of money they make or they have is stupid to me, it doesn't even make sense. I would love to see Elon Musk become the first person to pass 300 billion. Because Jeff Bezos already passed 200 one time, and then he came back because his stock fell. But if Elon is the first person to get 210, then 220, then 230, and it keeps going like that, I mean, we're watching history. Like that's mind blowing to me. Being able to watch history is just it's I don't know, it's a feeling that I can't really describe, being able to watch it. But it's really like I said, I didn't mean it to turn into a sports talk, but it really was more so stats and legacy, because like I said, that legacy transcends sports. Just look at Kobe. Yeah, he's top 5, or it doesn't matter whatever you think he is as far as basketball. He's one of the most talented and most successful basketball players of all time. But look at the legacy he left. People that never met him, including me, were crying because this man that they only got to see on TV died what we consider too early. Like, that's legacy. You can look at Martin Luther King. He died at 38 or 39 years old. And he didn't even get to live 100 years, but look at the legacy he left. And like I said, that just goes on and on and on and on. Michael Jackson, 52 years old. Kurt Cobain from Nirvana. Legacy. He died in I believe, I can't speak on when he died. It might have been the 90s, maybe the 80s. We still, to this day, are listening to his songs. And he was really young when he died. He was in his 20s. So, I think the most important thing for us all is to try to build a very elite or very successful legacy as much as we can. As much as we can. I know Preston's got something to say. I'm going to bring Preston to the stage. What you got for me, Preston? Shout out to Preston, too. Shout out to Preston and shout out to my girlfriend. They're always in the live show. You guys can't really see who's in the live show. I'm talking to YouTube, but shout out to you guys.
What I was going to say in regards to Kobe, it's just like kind of like what you said, like how prolific he was. Like you said, like people that don't know him are like sad that he's gone. And like for me, it's like at first I didn't understand. Like I remember when he passed, like literally one of my boys was like crying, and I was like, "Why is this man crying?" He's like, "Yeah, Kobe died." And I was like, "Okay, like all right." But now that I think about it, I'll probably be the same way if Elon Musk died.
Bro, take that back. We don't put that into the air.
Yeah, nah. I'm not gonna wood. I'm not gonna wood.
Nah, but I would be devastated if Elon died. More so because of what Elon stands for, but that is also legacy. You know what I mean? Like Elon is quite literally by himself trying to change our world or transcend the boundaries that we think are possible. He's like, yo, we're literally ruining the earth. Why don't we just all drive electric cars? So you know what? I'm going to make an electric car company. We're ruining the earth and we're going to have to get off it. So who's going to make a plan to get off it? Nobody? All right, boom. I'll do that too. I'm going to make a plan and make a rocket ship company to get us off this earth. People are saying that internet is a right, but no one's doing anything about it. Is anyone going to make a plan for it? No? All right, cool. I'm going to use my rocket ship company, and I'm going to launch satellites in the sky to give people cheap and free internet. Like, he said people want flying cars, but that's not possible. We need some type of plan B because all the roads are too crowded. Anybody going to make a plan? All right, boom. I'll do that too. I'll make a new company. I'll dig holes. I'll dig holes, and I'm going to put using my car company. I'm going to dig holes and use my cars to transport people through these tunnels, and I'll call it the Boring Company. And like, oh my God, he's just good. His last one, and I know you guys are watching me fanboy over this man. I hope he sees this one day. He said, the AI is going to take over in the future. We all know.
Neuralink. Oh my gosh.
We all know that that's a problem. Is anyone going to come up with a solution? You guys don't have anything? All right, boom. I guess I'll put that on my plate too.
Yeah, no. Elon is. He is just like. He doesn't want money. He's just focused. He's just focused on being for the people.
And it blows my mind that people love to hate him. Like, people love to hate Elon.
I always have to talk to people about that. I'll be educating people all the time. Like, nah, don't hate
I
Elon.
understand why people give hate to Bezos. Like, even I give hate to Bezos.
Bezos is grimy.
He is grimy, and he also just seems like the what's that guy's name from Superman? He seems like Lex Luthor. He just seems literally like the embodiment of Lex Luthor. He's even bald like Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, just the way he does his business practices are just not, they're kind of unethical. He puts niggas out of business, puts people out of business.
Yeah, they're very unethical, man. Shout out to Elon. Shout out to Elon Musk. Shout out to Bill Gates. But I gotta give you a big middle finger, Jeff Bezos. I worked inside.
That's the world we live in right now, right? It's crazy. And interestingly, Jeff is starting to take off this Blue Origin thing. I think Elon might, actually, no, because he's not really making SpaceX to be, for profit right now. So I don't think it'll be a huge problem. But, yeah, he's going to have a direct competitor.
Well, you know my motto, competition breeds champions. So if you're better, you'll win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you're better, you'll win. Like, people try to make excuses in sports, for football, for example. Oh, there's two teams. Like, there's an offense and there's a defense, and if you're better, you'll win. If you're better, you'll win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Competition breeds champions. If you're better, you will win.
That's the truth. That is the truth. All right, I gotta start my routine. I'm gonna wrap up today. I know you usually stay on here till the end, but I got some stuff to catch up for.
All right, bro, we'll catch you. Thank you for participating as always. Oh, you were saying something. What's up, you?
I just want to ask a question, I guess, about the stocks and stuff like that you were talking about earlier this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend that people still try to invest in the stocks like BlackBerry and GameStop, or is it too late and people should just wait for something else?
If you have money, if you have a lot of, and I know that's the cop-out answer, but if you have, let me preface that by saying this. If you think that you can see substantial gains from the stock being $240, then yeah, you should buy it. So if it goes from $240 to $500, you got to wait all the way. how do I want to say this? If you would have bought it at 40, you only have to wait for it to get to 80 for it to double. If you buy it at 250, you got to wait for it to go all the way to 500 for your money to double. So if you think that if you trust it that much and you think you can see substantial gains from it being from 250 to 500, then I would say do it. But you also need a lot more money. If you had to use that same number, if you had $250 when it was 40, you could buy 6 shares. If you have $250 now, you can only buy 1 share. So if the stock goes up, how do I want to word this? Basically, you're obviously you're not making as much money as if you would have got in there sooner. But we can't go back in the past. So I would have to, like I said, I would have to do more research on it. I don't know if BlackBerry is going to fall. I think it's going to go up just a little bit more and then it's going to fall. I think it'll go to like 300 and then probably balance back out at like 120 maybe. 120. So would I still invest in GameStop if I as Duron, would I? No. But BlackBerry probably still has some potential gains. So I would invest in BlackBerry if you could. I know on the Cash App stock thing, GameStop isn't on there. I looked yesterday, but I don't know if BlackBerry is. So for anyone that's not using Robinhood, I would use Robinhood. There's free trades on there. That was a good question though. It all depends on what someone looks at for themselves as a potential gain. So,
would you recommend those two to like a beginner, like someone who isn't really used to trading, and also someone who might not be able to sit and watch the stocks all day? Would you recommend that they buy those two stocks? Like, are they stocks that go up and down pretty frequently, where you might end up like losing all your money?
Because of what's happening right now with Wall Street bets, yeah, those stocks are going to be really volatile. Volatile meaning up and down very frequently. GameStop, I know as a fact you would have to watch it. I know you would. BlackBerry, I don't know what their plan is or what's happening with BlackBerry, but I haven't seen it go crazy down. I've only seen it go crazy up. So the trends on GameStop went to 40, then it went to 80, then it went to 60, then it went to 130, then it went back down to 80. And then all of this is over the course of like since last Friday. Today's Wednesday. So Thursday it was like 40, then Friday it was 80, and then on Monday it went down to 60. And then yesterday, Tuesday, it started out at 80, then went to 130, then it went to 230. So I don't even know what's going to happen today for GameStop, let alone like for a week from now or something. So GameStop, no. For a beginner, I would not invest in unless you're part of the Wall Street bets community and they think it's going to go to 500 or to even 1,000. So if I don't know what Kool-Aid they're sipping, but if they could be right. Like they got it to go this high. It was $40, which is for it to go 6x is crazy. So it's not entirely like unfathomable to think it could go up 2 times more if it's already going up 6 times more. So I don't know. GameStop I personally wouldn't invest in, but it also wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked if it went up to like 350. So if someone had $1,000 and they could buy 4 shares, and then they could watch it go from 250 to 350, and then they see it to go down a little bit, and they got out and they got a little bit of money, that would not be a bad strategy. But you would have to watch it, and if someone isn't able to watch it, then that strategy doesn't work for them. But BlackBerry, like I said, I don't know their charts. I looked at them briefly. I didn't see them going down at all, so maybe BlackBerry would be the buy for people to, if they don't want to frequently watch the stock. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
No problem. On that, I will end the show, and yeah, today was a really good show. I'm running time over, so I can't completely wrap it up, but yeah, today was a really good show. So that will end episode 12. And we had a very open conversation. All right, you guys have a beautiful day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.